this is the Kerbal King here, and today I have a challenge. So I saw this comment on a different KSP YouTuber's channel on one of his videos, and it basically says that I should get every part in the game into orbit. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So I have this mod called the Janitor's Closet, which basically allows me to block all the parts. So I've been putting the part on and then blocking it, so that's why there's no parts in any of these things. So I'm going to show you this craft that has every single part in the game on it, and we're going to try to fly it to orbit. So if we go here and open up, I'm calling it, where is it? Everything Mark 1. And it is pretty big. It has 297 parts. So that's the 96 parts of the stock game, plus one mech jeb unit, so that I actually have a chance of controlling it at all, because it's probably going to be very hard to fly. I haven't brought it out on the launch pad yet. I've just built it, and it has everything, and I've kind of pitched the engine certain ways. Like a few of these big engines I've kind of rotated to try to get the torque down. But yes, I have no clue if it's going to work. We definitely have the thrust, definitely have the Delta V. The only thing I don't know is that if it will hold together or not. So I've used a lot of auto strutting. Basically everything is auto strutted. Yes. Oh, I forgot to do that one. I've been doing them to the root part, which is the big orange shank stuffed all the way in the middle there. I have some kind of command pods up here, and hey, if all else fails, I'm putting Jeb in that little pod. He will certainly survive, because he has a launch escape system. I made sure that was the biggest part on the craft. So let's put some Kerbals in here, and hopefully they won't die. But yeah, that's probably gonna happen. I want to put Jeb in the pilot seat. Here. Mark 1 cockpit. No. Next Mark 1 command pod is what it is. Here, Mark 1 command pod. You go in there. Valentina, we shall put you in the cockpit. Bob will go in the science lab. And I don't know where we want to put Bill. We'll just check him and see where he goes to. Where does he want to go? Oh yeah, he wants to go to the Mark II crew cabin. Okay, so let's take this out on the launch pad for the first time. Unmute it. Yeah, I had it muted because I could not have listened to that music over and over again while I am trying to build it. So let's save and launch. I wonder how long it is going to take. It wasn't that bad, only about 12 seconds, but of course it did not choose to load this in, so let's just go and do something we'll probably be doing a lot, reverting the flight, because yes, we have no clue if this is going to work, and I bet the first one is going to explode on the launch pad after getting shaken apart by the Kraken. Because I have this one launch clamp, because I wanted to have that part on there. And okay, yes, that is what happened. I decided just to show the first time I brought it out on the launch pad on here, because I just wanted to see how funny it would look and thought you guys would want to see it. So I'm going to go back to the drawing board and fix it up a lot. Okay, so after many iterations, I've finally gotten something to work. This is the Everything Mark 4.8. It's the fourth design that I came up with the outer tanks, and then kind of like the eighth iteration of that, because the first one, like the craft file wouldn't load, and I came back the next day to work on it, so I had to basically rebuild the outer parts. And I've basically been saving it with different decimal points throughout the way, throughout building it, and then copying it into a different folder to back it up. So I'm on the eighth iteration. So basically, it's the same thing in the middle. I added some fuselages to get above everything else. So then we have the tanks that then get bigger, and we have mammoth engines on the bottom. And what I've managed to do is get the torque down by adjusting the thrust limiter on all of them so that it's balanced out, because the center of mass is not in the middle of all of that. And yeah, so basically that makes it pretty stable. I did a few tests on it. First time it didn't quite get into orbit because it couldn't turn fast enough. So I put these little vernier engines on so that when it turns to its circularization, it can get there faster, because basically what it does is goes basically straight up to like 80 kilometers and then has to turn over to get facing prograde again pretty quickly, and it couldn't do it fast enough, so I added the little thrusters. And yeah, that's about it. I think it's time to get going, so let's launch. Okay, so we're out here on the launch pad. We'll set the surface on MechJeb to 90, so that's facing east and 90 pitch, which means going straight up. Execute that. So basically adjusting this value does the same as the A and D keys. It's just much more precise, so that's why I'm using it. And let's go. It's a little bit janky, but it'll figure itself out. That's especially why I have these fins that are really, really big, but they help keep it under control. We'll tell it to pitch to 85, so that way it will kind of keep at least over to the east of the prograde marker. If it wobbles around, at least we'll be getting up. It's kind of a pretty slow launch because there's thrust to weight ratio is pretty low, but yeah, this is like the best way I can figure out to do it, because originally I wanted to use one of every part and one of every part only, and use all of the engines to launch. But yeah, I figured out soon after that it just was impossible to get it balanced. So that way I just decided this design, which is pretty balanced, and then I could just tweak the thrust on the mammoth engines to account for the center of mass being off to get no torque on the vessel. So I did pretty good. Got the torque down pretty low, and it's going pretty good. It's basically just straight up. We'll pitch down to 80. Yeah, it's kind of like a slideshow of trying to watch it because the frame rate's so bad, but yeah, that's because it's such a big vessel. I'm sorry about that. Computer's just not quite fast enough to handle it. Like, we're going pretty slow on the time. Yeah. But we're moving. That's the good thing. See how we're doing on our Delta V. 2700. That should be enough. Because if we'll probably have 20,000 left after we push our apoapsis up high enough for circularization, and that's basically the amount you need to circularize is with this ascent profile that I tried before. It might be a little bit more efficient because I didn't think I pitched over this much, but it's nice that we're not getting that many Mach effects like the kind of like the fire and heating when you accelerate through the atmosphere, but because that would really slow down the machine, the computer, trying to basically kill the frame rate. And yes, this is being played on 100% re-entry heating and no cheats, obviously, because that would not be a fun challenge if you cheated. We are almost up. I'm going to go 77, looks fine, 78 kilometers. Then we are going to use this to, I have the maneuver planner set to circularize. 19, that's almost good. It's basically going to be perfect. So we can already just tell it to point to the node using the reaction wheels so that we don't have to use the fuel for the thrusters. So because it's 1 minute 6 seconds until the burn, we have, oh, that's the length. Yeah, it's 1.6 seconds is the length of the burn. We should start burning at, you'd start burning at half, so we'd start burning at T-minus 36 seconds, because it's most efficient if you change your velocity immediately at the node, but that can't happen because the engines don't push us that hard. So if you split the difference, then it makes it efficient. So we're rising out of the atmosphere. This launch seems to be going much better than this other launch that I did, which is kind of hilarious. This, I basically was in the VAB and then just hit the launch button. And when I came out, when it loaded in the launch pad, this is where I was, with the rocket looking like a few of the engines was burning. All of the controls were kind of messed up with the numbers, but it was weird. Some of the mods, like I could open the KOS terminal. Like, you can open, this is what the KOS button does. It worked in that screenshot I did. Some of them would work, but Kerbal Alarm Clock wouldn't work. Some of the other ones wouldn't work, but some of them did. It was so weird, and then it ended up crashing the game. And I wonder if that's what happened to my craft file, because that was the one that didn't end up working, so that could have been the problem. So here we are, getting almost out of the atmosphere, and basically pointing at the node. So it looks like we didn't really need those thrusters. We'll keep. I think we can time warp a little bit here. I don't want to do much physical time warp because I really don't want this to shake itself apart. But I did use a bunch of auto struts. This thing is auto strutted like crazy. I don't even want to time warp it because we've gotten this far, we really don't want it to shake itself apart. And there's one other thing that I did, is that all the way in the middle here, we have this orange tank, which is the root part, and I thought, that's weird, I thought I had locked it, to have a little bit of extra fuel in case we needed it. But actually, no, that's not the orange tank I was talking about. But anyway, in the middle here, there's an orange tank. It's the root part of this whole thing. They put a little bit of fuel in case we need it, but hopefully we won't. And here we are at our node, so let's burn. I'll turn the RCS on now to make sure that it helps us keep pointed at the node, because I know before it kind of liked to bounce around a lot when we were burning. Yeah, we're kind of deviating a little bit. Hopefully the RCS is working to keep us pointed at the node, and we definitely have enough fuel. If not, we have that little bit of fuel left that we can use the Poodle engine that we have to haul up to use to finish it off if we need it. But hopefully we won't. I'm actually surprised. This design has actually worked really good. I think I did on this design. I did one other test flight that got maybe a few hundred meters per second shy of orbit because it just wasn't working quite right. I missed the node because it wouldn't turn fast enough, so I added those RCS jets. And then I did another design with this with solid rocket boosters on it, but they ended up not working because I thought I would need that little extra kick, because that was my problem. It turned out I was just burning inefficiently. But this exact design, this is the first time I've launched this exact design. It was like these RCS and a little bit of extra fuel and everything. So we are almost to orbit. And oh yeah, slightly we're out of fuel on these ones, but we're like a little bit under. So what we can do is just here, just time warp to stop it, and then we can turn that off. We will go in here. No. Okay, that just seems unfair. Like, it's basically there. I bet I can get the rest of it into orbit. It's just like because we have this little bit of extra fuel that we can use the Terrier engine. Like, we're gonna, like, if we warp to the apoapsis, like, all of it's basically gonna get into orbit. I think the few parts will what parts are even off? Like, oh, that's tail plane, which I think we have one on the other vessel. That's the main ship. Oh, the twin bore, but all the mammoth engines are just flying everywhere. But do we have it? There we go. No, what is going on here? Like, if we go out to the map and add a maneuver here to circularize, what is it like? We're definitely gonna have enough fuel to make it into orbit, because all we have to do is raise that by like a few hundred meters. So we're going to get the majority of parts into orbit. The other ones, it's just, yeah, if it hadn't exploded, they totally would have gotten into orbit. Hopefully when I drop out of time warp, it doesn't explode on me. And, like, it was designed good. Like, it held it, like, it didn't wobble or anything at all. I think the Kraken just attacked it. That deep space Kraken. Okay, I'm gonna be ready to hop back into time warp if it doesn't, if it starts to shake itself apart. No. Yes. Why is it in the dark? Can I think in the new update you can adjust the ambient light without having to use a mod. Ambient light boost. Let's bump that up so we can actually, so you guys can actually see what's happening. There we go. Now we can actually see this monster of a rocket. I'm going to turn the RCS on. It's probably going to tear itself apart. Oh, and we're in orbit. Yeah. No. Let's go. Yes. The stupid space Kraken. But hey, at least Jebediah was safe. He had the escape pod. We can probably just point... Wait, if we just point prograde... Oh, it's odd. Look how it's so bent. And we just activate the engine. Hey, Jeb got into orbit, so... We're slightly in orbit, but, like we got to basically orbit before it exploded. And then, like, this main piece is in orbit. It's amazing to see just how it exploded and then how some of the pieces, like this large hunk of it is in orbit. Not, like, pieces that aren't are, like, so close. Or were so close. I mean, I could launch it again and it'd probably be fine, but, like, yeah. Like, that's a big hunk of it that's in orbit. In case you don't know, orbit is anything over, with a periapsis of over 70 kilometers. So that's 70,000 meters. No, I do not want to time warp. I want to switch to see what is left of this wonderful, wonderful spacecraft. We at least successfully got all of it into space. So I would like to see, I just want to see if we can bring this piece home. I know it doesn't have any fuel in it. So now that we've basically seen that it's exploded, I'm going to bring up the debug menu or the cheat menu and turn on infinite fuel. And then I just want to see if there's a way we can get it. Can we, like, go SAS and face retrograde, and then maybe we can see if we can land this, or at least recover the crew. Where are they? One's in there. Where are the parachutes at on this thing? Down, connected to that. I'm going to transfer both of them into that cockpit. Oh yeah, he's in the cockpit. I think he's in the cargo, but I think opens on like one of these. Oh yeah, this is our. This is one that I'm pretty proud of. Is that the science bay that I made with all the science parts in it. Yeah, well, let's just see if we can bring it back. We're controlling from here. Yeah, we'll just use the gimbaling on the vector engine. Shut down the poodle. It's probably just going to get torn apart re-entering, but I will have some fun with it. It has 3 of the Ford Kerbals in it. I wonder if where Jeb is going, if it rendered in the infinite propellant, therefore putting unlimited solid fuel in the in that launch escape system. I wonder if it's like just flying him off somewhere. It could be happening. We'll check in the tracking station after this, but like, hey, we'll have some more fun with this while it lasts. Slow down. I'm going to bring up all the parachutes because staging would probably be an utter disaster. Okay, coming down, coming down, coming down. Slow down more. To make this more interesting, we're going to do this on 4 times time accelerate the entire time down. This is not as interesting as I thought it would be. Just falling. Actually, I don't really care about this. I just want to go. If we revert the flight back to launch, I want to just try time warping, and I bet it's going to explode on the launch pad anyway because of time warp and the amount of just the way this is made up. So if we just it's easy in physics. No, I don't want physical time warp. If we just warp like that and then come out of wherever. Didn't. That's odd. Yeah. So it's sad that it didn't work. It's like, I bet it's probably not going to work again, even because it's just going to rip itself apart. But at least a good majority of it got to orbit, and everything of it got, every part of it got to space, so that's good. So I'm going to end this one here, and thanks for watching. I hope you subscribe and like if you liked the video, and subscribe if you want to see more awesome content. I'm also going to try to get another episode of my career mode out this weekend, so that is going to be something also to look forward to. Thanks for watching. Bye.